Now we're going to hear from Murray Ford, who's Associate Professor of the Environment at the University of Auckland. He's going to talk about cyclone-driven erosion in East Coast beaches.
Kia ora, thanks for that, and thanks for all the great talk so far. For a little bit of context, as part of the Resilience National Science Challenge, the RNC2 coastal program, we've been mapping coastal change around New Zealand. We've been doing this for the last kind of 3+ years, and we've built up a record of coastal change across the entire country over the last 70 to 80 years. So we've been digitising the retrolens, or the LINS historic, the Crown archive of aerial photos, but we've also been focusing on the last 20 years using sub-meter optical satellite imagery, some of which you've kind of seen earlier on. This has allowed us to answer all sorts of questions about how New Zealand's coast has changed. And as we kind of got towards the end of that project, we've got about another year left. Cyclone Gabrielle's come along and provides, gives us an opportunity to use that data we've already generated to provide some additional insight into the impacts of Cyclone Gabrielle. So we, as part of this project, are going to be acquiring satellite imagery, sub-meter satellite imagery from Cape Kidnappers to North Cape, from before the cyclone, as soon after the cyclone as possible, and then during the summer of 23-24. We're going to be mapping the coastline over those 3 time periods and putting it into the context of change over the last 70 to 80 years. Depending on how this winter plays out, we might see more erosion prompted by Gabrielle putting the sediment budget along the coast into a deficit. We don't quite know yet, but we're hopeful we'll be able to get a really good early summer 23-24 image to enable us to look at those ongoing changes to the coast prompted by Gabrielle. This is just some of the work that's come out of the coastal program within the RNC National Science Challenge. We've finished a few regions over the last year or two. An example of kind of the output of what we produce on the left-hand side there is the shoreline change rate for all of Northland, which Professor Mark Dixon's been analysing quite closely, looking for any patterns of change that emerge within that record, which spans over 80 years. Some additional imagery there on the right shows just some of the work that's done. This is in the Tasman district, where we've completed that entire region, 1938 to 2021 aerial photo. And then within that Northland to Hawke's Bay region, we'll be supplementing that with all these additional shorelines that we produce. Our first priority is to get data and get it out there quickly before we start analysing that. We've talked extensively with the regional councils from Northland down to Hawke's Bay, and we're providing vector outputs basically of coastline position, both historic and as a result of Gabrielle. And we really just want to put it out there initially to see what's useful and what analysis councils, other scientists, engineering firms can build on top of those data sets. We hope to do this quite quickly. We spun this up really efficiently post-Gabrielle, where the university provided some seed money. And for example, we were able to get a satellite image that was taken mid-morning, which is when most of our images are taken in New Zealand, and actually have something published online by about 2 o'clock that same afternoon. So early on, we worked really quickly, and now we're trying to get that complete coverage. So on the next slide, just some of the outputs we'll see. So we've spun up a data portal, coordinates, which most of you will be familiar with. It's built on that platform, data.coastalchange.nz, where you can download our data, and our national scale record will go up on there in the next 6 months or so, but we'll be slowly adding pre-Gabrielle data, post-Gabrielle data, and then the the summer 23-24 data sets will be going on there as well. Didn't mention, but we have a small bolt-on project where we're going to visit between about 6 and 10 beaches and produce really high-resolution, three-dimensional data sets from drone surveys. So that will also go up on that platform as well in due time. Thank you.